Good afternoon all. Today we are going to discuss about ServiceNow events. Let's take a look at one of the demonstrations to understand what a ServiceNow event is. Most of us know what's a ServiceNow event. So just to take you through a short brief, it's ServiceNow event is any activity that happens in ServiceNow that can be explicitly captured is what goes into the events. So a place to register such activities is the event registry, which we find in ServiceNow as one of the modules. And then we have the event logs, which displays the output of the event that has been invoked. So any event that goes into the event queue will generate some output, and we can see that output in the event logs. Business rule is one of the way to invoke the events in ServiceNow. And then how do we make use of the outputs that has been generated through an event? It is through tools like notifications or script actions. And finally, to verify if a notification has been generated, I will have to go into the email logs to verify if the record is generated, that is, the notification is generated. That pretty much summarizes more or less about the event. And how does it work? Well, three actions. First, we have to register the event. We have to ensure that the output is generated by invoking the method. And the third thing is we have to utilize the output. So let's do that. So here I am on my ServiceNow instance, the personal developer instance. So I have a custom table, which is called as the configuration table. Now on this configuration table, my configuration records have three fields in it. One seeks the table name as a input. Second one is an active true or false field, and third one is a user field, which is a reference to the sys_user table. Okay, so let's get into the business rule. We all know that for an event to be generated, the event has to first happen, isn't it? Something must invoke that particular event. Only the user actions can invoke the event. So there should be some sort of user action which will invoke the event. Now, how do I verify the user action? It is via the business rule. Okay, I'm defining a business rule here, which is a before business rule on the configurations table on my custom table, and it is on insert and update. That is, whenever I insert a record onto the configurations table, or even if I make some updates on the configuration table record, then this business rule is getting invoked. So what does the business rule do? It doesn't have any filter conditions, please take note. So this will apply to all the records which are getting inserted or updated on the configurations record. Now, this is a simple business rule which invokes the event queue method in the glide system, making use of the glide system object, GS, global object. It invokes the event queue method. So what is the method all about? It takes four parameters. The first one being the event name. Okay, the event name that we intend to pass it to the event logs. Why am I saying that? Because event logs recognizes the event. I mean, you should be able to identify what kind of an event was generated, right? So to identify what kind of an activity has happened, we are defining a event name over here. Okay, so that event name goes as my first parameter. So this event name, whatever I am passing as my first parameter, should also be registered on the event registry, should also find an entry in the event registry. So ensure your event name which you are passing as the first parameter is an entry on the event registry. Okay, it will work even if it is not registered on the event registry, but you will not be able to make use of the output which is getting generated. I mean, you will not be able to further use the event output on tools like notifications and script actions if you are not registering it on the event registry. Okay, not having an entry on the event registry will not restrict event logs being generated. It will still generate the event logs, but you can't further use it. Okay, so always make sure to have the event registered on the event registry first, and then use that event registry record over here to invoke the event. And the second parameter refers to the record where the activity is getting triggered. So where is my activity getting triggered? An insert or update happens on the u_configurations. Now, since I'm on a business tool and I can make use of the current object, I will use the current keyword to refer to this particular table. I will also use the current keyword to refer to one of the table fields, which is custom field, the user field on the configurations table, right? So which is a reference to sys_user. That goes as my third parameter. And the fourth parameter is a user relevant information, which is which displays the username of the user who is logged in. So it displays the display name of that particular user. Now here, make a note of the third and fourth parameters. It is the third parameter is fetching the record relevant information. Fourth parameter is fetching the session relevant information. That is which user, not session, but the logged in user relevant information. Okay. So which user is logged in and what are his attributes. So it is fetching the display name of the user who is logged in. So from this itself, we can make out what is the purpose of an event. The purpose of an event is to generate outputs which are either record relevant or user/session relevant information. Okay. So where are my outputs? Now that we have understood how to invoke a certain event, where are my outputs getting registered? We already mentioned about the event registry. Let's take a look at the event first. What is the event record? Okay. So I will go to configurations. Okay, the event that I have created. Just a quick look at what an event registry record looks like. So this is a string field. The table takes the name of a table. In ServiceNow, I mean, it picks up a table name from the ServiceNow platform. Okay, and fired by and description are again string fields. Why I am highlighting these fields being string fields is because there's no configuration on an event registry, there's no scripting, there's no configuration on an event registry, and hence this record is just a identifier. Okay, it is like maintaining a register for me. Okay, I want to explicitly record some activities pertaining to a certain table. Fine, I come to the event registry and record those events in the form of event registry records, nothing else. So the only input which refers elsewhere is this table. Okay, it refers to the tables which are present in ServiceNow. Otherwise, everything else is a string field. Okay, and we are not giving in any inputs for the queue or the caller access. Queue is basically if you want to put it into a specific queue. A specific event queue. Okay, so the event registry record is a space to identify the activity which is getting invoked. Okay, if I want to identify a certain activity and I want to call it by a name, then I will register that on the event registry, so that tomorrow if someone wants to use it, reuse it, let's say tomorrow a different user wants to have a different action performed on the same activity, that is adding on configurations table. Okay, so he will reuse the same event to probably throw notifications or perform some other action. We will check how that is being done. So that's more or less about the event registry record. Let's get into the event logs now. So the event logs is a place where the output of the event is stored. Now, where is the event getting invoked? It is on the business rule via the method event queue. So through this method, I am trying to output these two values. Okay, and I told you that there is a space where the output gets stored. It is on these two fields called as param1 and param2 that the output gets stored. Okay, but why is the output still not generated? Let's check if there is any output generated. Not yet. Okay, for the configurations, I think I had generated some output while I did some activity before, but let me try and do that again. So I'm on the incident task and I'm saying that I will, okay, I'll put it by Carol. I'm trying to do a update operation over here. So is update going to invoke the event? Let's check that. Yes, we have marked it on update as well. So this should invoke the business rule. Now, when the business rule is invoked, I should obviously, it will trigger the event and it will generate the outputs. The outputs, as I said, will be reflecting on the event logs. Let's check that. Yes, it is getting reflected. Now, what is my third parameter which goes into param1? The third parameter which goes into param1 is the current.u_user. So the third parameter is the user record value stored on the configurations table. So that is getting fetched. And the fourth parameter is the display name of the logged in user, which obviously is system administrator because I'm logged in as the system administrator. Now with these two values, what can I, okay, the event is generated now. Okay. We see that the event is generated now. The event was generated at 12:22. Okay. There is I have made use of the output that is generated through these events, and I have stored and I have made use of it on a notification. Okay, let's track that notification. So this is my notification. So what does the notification say? Okay, so this notification says trigger this notification whenever an event is fired, and I have put in configurations.add. So this is why we need to register the activity, the event, into the events registry. Otherwise you can't select that particular event over here. Okay, so configurations.add, and who will receive this notification? I'm saying, so one thing to make note of, I'm on advanced view, I'm not on the default view, so you will have to ensure that the notification is opened on the advanced view. You will have a related link over here which says advanced view, and you have to click on that to enable the advanced view. So it says the recipient should be either a user ID or a group sysID, user sysID, a group sysID, or an email address. Okay, let's verify if the recipient is a sysID. Yes, it is. Okay. Because I am saying param1, I am referring to the value which is stored in param1. It is a sysID. Okay. So that condition is satisfied. Now there is a catch in here. Okay. This field says send to event creator. Event creator means that the person who has generated the event, right? Logically we assume that it should be the system administrator because I'm logged in as a system administrator. So I might be assuming that it will trigger the notification to the system administrator. Well, that's not the case. Okay, this is a field which when checked to true, we have to set the user on either of these fields, that is user, user groups, or param1 or param2. If I check this field and I don't fill in any users, okay, I don't give any input for users on either of these fields or the groups, then no notification will be triggered. And vice versa, if I don't check this field, send to event creator, and I feed in some users into any of these fields, even then the notification will not get triggered. So I have to ensure that this field is set to true, send to event creator, and I have to select one of these fields as the input. Okay. So I have chosen param1 as my recipient, and I have verified that param1 contains the recipient. Okay. Now let's go to what it will contain. I'm just designing a simple HTML notification. Okay. I'm not using any email templates or mail scripts over here. So I'm saying that I'm notifying the user saying that, dear user, a new record is inserted or an existing configuration is modified on the configurations table with the field set active to this value. How did I select this value? I used this component called as select variables and I chose the active value. Okay. So when you choose the active value, that populates the value over there. So I have configured my notification. Now I will check if my notification does work. So I will pick up one of the existing event which is there. So when I go to the event table through reference list, I can pick up one of the events. And here it is. We had chosen this particular user. See that it only triggers the notification to one user, not the system administrator, as I had mentioned. Okay. So the notification is triggered with the subject that we have provided and the content. All right. So that pretty much explains about what's the output, how the event generated, the event output generated is being used on a notification. All right. Let's verify in real time if the event has been generated or not. Let me refresh the list. Sorry, if the notification has been generated or not. So 12:22 was the time. Okay. We had updated this record at 12:22. Yeah, 12:22. So the email has been triggered at 12:22. That verifies that we have a working notification using the events. Now there's a different place where we can make use of this events, okay, and that's the script actions. So the script action, I'll try and pick up one script action over here. So the script action uses the event name as an input. As we saw on the notification, that also did take a event name. And it lets you use that particular event attributes using the event object. Okay, it is a global object, event. And when we use the param1 as the attribute name, it fetches the value on the param1. That is how you got to use the event outputs on a script action as well. I hope this video has been useful for most of you who are new into this concept of events. I'll try and bring up such content whenever I learn along with you. So happy learning on the ServiceNow platform. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thanks all.